Hey guys, we got some podcast news, audio/podcast news. Spotify has bought Anchor, the famous podcast app where you're able to record from the Anchor app and, shoot out a podcast like nothing, which people thought the Anchor was like the Twitter for podcasting or the YouTube for podcasting. Yeah, so Spotify, a music streaming giant, competing against Apple Music and Pandora, has bought an Anchor. Don't know how much they paid for, but according to TechCrunch, the music streaming service today confirmed that it has snapped up to two podcast networks, Gimlet and Anchor, in undisclosed deals. But that's not all. The firm says it has plans to spend a further $400 to $500 million on multiple acquisitions in 2019 to get even deeper into the space. I don't know what is Gimlet. I've never heard of Gimlet. I use Anchor. I upload these podcasts onto to Anchor as another good podcast directory, probably as good as iTunes, to be honest. But yeah, Gimlet is. Let me double check what's Gimlet. I've never heard of Gimlet. Is an award-winning narrative podcasting company that aims to help listeners better understand the world and each other. So Spotify, they're huge. They started in Europe by the former co-founder of Napster, and also helped out Facebook as well. The deals are a major push for Spotify, but the writing has been on the wall for those paying attention. TechCrunch reported last month from CES that Spotify is going after podcasting this year. The company has been going after exclusive shows. At CES, it added Unbothered from journalist Jim Hill, while it's also working on specialist ad units around its podcasting network. Yeah, these past couple of years, podcasting has become very popular. I started podcasting. I actually been podcasting for the past 10 years. I took a break after 2012, came back in 2016, and it's become a boom. Obviously, you're seeing people from big networks that are leaving networks because they could create their own podcast, create their own revenue, and it's and like the ceiling is unlimited. So this is huge. Everyone talks about audio as the future. I see it, but I see a little bit, a lot of clutter going on. To be honest, a lot of clutter. Obviously, there's dedicated fans to Pacific Podcast, but there hasn't been that one platform. I think iTunes could declare it is that they are the podcast directory. Almost all the podcasts are on iTunes, but then it gets a little bit scattery after that. Google Play, Anchor is one of them, Stitcher, and also TuneIn. TuneIn is also a huge player. So we'll see what happens. I'm really excited about Anchor. Anchor started about 2-3 years ago. I remember when they first came out, it was a big thing, but then they stabilized a little bit. They kind of plateaued. So hopefully we'll see what Spotify does. Pandora added podcasting not too long ago. So, which we submitted the Sleon Productions podcast into Pandora, and I think we've been approved. So we'll keep you guys updated. Really excited about Anchor. It's mainly on an app, pretty much. You could upload it from an app, but obviously they do have a web version, which is pretty good. And you're able to monetize on Anchor. So Spotify definitely saw some value in Anchor. Don't know how much they spent it, how much they acquired it for, but I'm sure the Anchor is pretty happy, or the ownership is pretty happy about it. So anyways, please follow us on sleonproductions.com. Follow us on Twitter, Sleon @Sleon, Instagram @Sleon, and our Facebook, go to Sleon Productions, facebook.com/Sleon Productions. For any tech news, any update, follow us here. And if you're listening, please hit subscribe, leave a rating and a review, because it will help us out tremendously on the search. Anyways, let's go listen to some podcasts.